Welcome into Boxing Scene Today here at the ProBox TV studios. Well, every time he does something, it makes headlines. That's right, Jake Paul with a win over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but he's the promoter. He put a card together from top to bottom that, as a boxing fan, very entertaining. To help me break it down, of course, the champ, Chris Algieri, also Coach Robert Garcia, joining us via Zoom. Paulie's not here with us, so we can be real positive from the beginning, right? Can't we? So, champ, tell me about a card that, as a hardcore fan, I gotta say, every fight entertaining right up till the main event.
Yeah, I know. I think the card, we said this on past shows, bottom to top was an excellent card. And a fight fans card, too.
Yes.
This is a hardcore card. The return of Holly Holm, I thought that was really cool. Yeah. You know, that she's coming back, former world champion, was an excellent female fighter. You know, fought all the top girls in back in the day. And she came back and she was fighting an undefeated Mexican girl. I thought that might have been a bit mistake, but she actually looked really good.
Real sharp.
Very sharp, very strong, good conditioning, went the full route, full 10 rounds, won every round. Man, performance of the night. Floyd Scoffield, dude. Whoa. Wow. I mean, listen, did I expect him to beat Tevin Farmer? Yes, but I expected it to be really difficult. I could have also seen Tevin scoring the upset. But, man, to go out there and blow him out in 90 seconds, drop him 3 times, I mean, just stunned him with the first shot that he landed. Super impressive, superstar performance. That kid is red hot in a red hot division now. Also, I liked his interview afterwards. He was, like, very gentlemanly. You know, he's like, I feel bad about doing that to Tevin. He's my friend, but listen, man, you got to do what you got to do. I love that answer. Just a killer in the ring and a gentleman outside. Even the undercard, the co-main event of Zurdo Ramirez and Dorticos.
Great fight.
Dorticos is a really dangerous guy, man. Super heavy hands. And you saw Ramirez fought a little bit differently that night. He wasn't as zealous. He gets hit a lot. He did not get the hit. He didn't try to get hit as much against Dorticos because he could really punch. But all in all, another good performance, another workmanlike performance from Zurdo.
Curiel over Rodriguez.
Dude. He throws combinations like a banshee.
Show us. Come on. Shadow box. I know you want to.
Boom, boom, boom. And everything's hard. He's got bad intentions on his shots. I really like that kid, man. He's a two-fisted puncher, and I like guys like that who throw combinations.
Yeah, so, Coach, tell me about this undercard. Schofield looks so good against Tevin Farmer, against a very tough customer. We saw that against Zepeda, and Schofield couldn't miss with his power punches.
Look, it was awesome to see something like that happen because he's at a division that's hot at the lightweight division, and after what happened in Saudi with his fight against Shakur, you know, a lot of us, because even myself, we were questioning him. We were questioning his decision, his heart when it comes to the ring. But he surprised everybody. He did what nobody expected. The kid put himself in a great position. There's already, you know, I was there. I was there. I have Raymond Murataya, and I was already told that would be a really nice fight. So the kid put himself in a great position. He's a very, you know, just like you were saying, champ. He talked really nice after. Also, you know, I've met him a few times. Very respectful kid, so he deserves it. He deserves what he earned last Saturday. That was a great fight. You know, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, because of what happened in his last time he was supposed to fight in Saudi. I was actually picking Farmer to pull it off because Farmer has been, you know, he gave Raymond a very tough fight, very close fight, and he gave Zepeda 2 very close fights too. So I was actually picking experience over Schofield, but man, was I happy to see what he did. Very nice kid. So he deserves what he earned this Saturday.
Yeah, Julian Rodriguez over Avius Griffin, a guy who was
That's right.
A big signing. Griffin, you know, a knockout puncher, real flashy, real tall. Rodriguez just went, I want it more than you.
I met Avius Griffith in New York City on the Keyshawn undercard when he won the title. And I mean, I couldn't believe how big he was. He was huge, giant. Yeah, it was like Tommy Hearns type style. And I mean, I'm talking to him, and then I look him up. I'm like, oh, this guy's like 17-0 with 17 knockouts. And like I was asking Bomac about him. He goes, yeah, no, let's kick and punch. He could really fight. I was like, all right. I've known Julian Rodriguez for a long time. He's kind of came up in the same area when I was still fighting. Hammer hands, Jersey guy, and he stepped up a few times, fell short. And then he had this opportunity.
Great amateur.
Yeah,
it's kind of underperformed his approach.
Very good amateur. good puncher as a pro, has some good highlight reel knockouts, fought on a bunch of top-ranked shows on the way up, but just never performed up to what his expectations were. Yep. And I think he looked at this like, this is my last chance on a huge platform, fighting a really, really tough kid who's definitely brought in to lose, and man, did he show out. Scores the knockout with 5 seconds left in the last round. Was able to hurt his man over and over and over again, but I mean, finished the show, closed it in exciting fashion. So good for him, man. That was cool to see. He was very, very happy afterwards. So, but man, Avius Griffin, he could be back, man. I mean, it was a big step up for him, and it didn't work out this time. But I think he's still a guy who's very talented.
All right, we've talked around it the whole time. That's right. We had a main event: Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The frustrating thing, Coach, about this fight is when Chavez Jr. started throwing punches in the last 2 rounds, he started hitting Jake Paul, and you go, where was this in the opening of the fight? What are your thoughts, Coach?
Look, I've been in boxing my whole life, and I also know how the bodies feel, how it is to get older in age, and the workouts, the hard workouts, the sparring sessions. There was no way. People are saying Chavez should have started sooner. Chavez should have started sooner, but if he would have started sooner, he would have tired out. He wouldn't have survived the 10 rounds. He would have never made it to the last belt, because his body is just not. Even though as hard as they could train, when you don't have that, when you're already up there in age and your body's already has a lot of beatings with training camps and everything, there's no way you could perform. I think this was the situation. Chavez cruised through the rounds, surviving, tried to push himself the last 3 rounds, and he did win a couple of those rounds, and had a great opportunity to land good punches. But that's why he waited to the last 2 rounds, maybe knock him out, maybe try to knock him out in the last couple of rounds, because if he would have started sooner, he wouldn't have gone through the fight. He would have tired out. His body would have given up, and Jake Paul would have probably stopped him.
When you look at it, Chris, Jake Paul starting his career late in life, we've always had these ups and downs, and his performance is never quite sure what we're getting from him. What did you get from him in this fight against Chavez Jr.?
I'm not going to knock Jake on for this fight at all. I mean, he did what he had to do with the man who was in front of him, and for the most part, the guy was a punching bag for the first 7.5 rounds. And I agree with you, Robert. Even the last couple rounds when he poured it on certain times, he still didn't fight 3 minutes of any round. He didn't fight 3 minutes of those rounds either. I think he was just trying to get to those later rounds, maybe try to outlast the younger Jake, who does tend to fade late, and he faded once again, and try and come on. But he couldn't put on any kind of sustained attack in order to really try to get the stoppage. It is a shame. It's frustrating when you're watching it. But listen, guys, if you're watching Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in the last, 8 years, this is the way he fights. He did this against Sergio Martinez when he was actually in his prime. He didn't fight for 10, 11 rounds, got beat all over the ring, always showed a solid chin. Round 12, he comes out there, guns blazing, drops Sergio twice, one of the greatest 12th rounds in middleweight history. He's been that guy. When he fought Canelo, his hands stayed in his pockets for 12 rounds. He got touched up all over the ring, very similar to what we saw in the first 7, 8 rounds of this fight. It's not surprising when you know Chavez Jr., especially now that he's 39. 39 is not young. I mean, in my last fight, I was 37. I was old. I felt old. You could feel the difference as you get up there, as you said, Robert. So I'm not very surprised with the Chavez Jr. that showed up. But we did see some things from Jake. I think some improvements. He used his jab well. He was stinging that jab, ripping right hooks to the body, mixing up with right hands upstairs. We saw a right uppercut, which is kind of a new weapon. He had a guy who's high guard in front of him, but still is lacking the combination punching. He's not super deceptive in the way he sets up his power shots. He lunges in at times, although his footwork was better, hand position was better. But you can tell, man, as soon as Chavez started throwing some shots, Jake is not comfortable with guys throwing back. Fighting a heavy bag is one thing. It's really easy to look good on a heavy bag. But when the heavy bag starts punching back.
Champ, let's also remind everybody that Jake Paul started boxing late, didn't have an amateur experience.
Right.
He only has 12 fights.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to BoxRec and all the world champions, myself, yourself, champ, by our 12 fights, we were probably still fighting 6 rounds and fighting guys with losing records.
Mm-hmm.
That's our job. That's the manager's job, the trainer's job, the promoter's job to do. I think Jake Paul, people say, oh, he's a YouTuber. How can a YouTuber beat somebody like Chavez? How can a YouTuber beat Tyson? No, he's a boxer. He trains year round. He's in shape. He's learning boxing, and only with 12 fights, already challenged himself. To go all 10 rounds. Very few young fighters when they're going when they have 12 fights, they're still fighting 6 or 8 rounders. It's not new, or it's not different. It's just Jake Paul doing it, and everybody criticizes that, and everybody wants to see him against a solid, cruiserweight against a real fight. But he's already taking those challenges. He's already doing what very few do. With only 12 fights, and especially with no amateur experience, he just started boxing for fun. To sell at first. I'm pretty sure because he was very popular. But he loves the sport. He enjoys it. He trains hard. He's training year round. So I don't see anything wrong with the way his career is going.
No, Coach, I agree, and I was actually just talking about this on my podcast about. Listen, this is how most fighters look in their 12th and 13th fight of their
Correct.
career. You fight these kinds of guys. Chavez Jr. to me was, and Robert, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. When you fight that journeyman who's like 14 and 30, who's tough. And he's going to give your guy some look, but he's not going to win. He's going to be there. He's probably going to go the distance. We all had those guys coming up. This is just his version. The difference is we're seeing his development live on main events. So the scrutiny comes because of that. You didn't see my development.
Right.
My development was on dark shows in rooms with 400 people, not on pay-per-views with 10,000 people in the room with 1 million watching at home. So the scrutiny comes from that. It's because we're watching his development in live action and we're paying for it. So it's very different.
Here's one thing, and I say this about powerful people, famous people. I say this all the time. They love attention. They hate scrutiny. Right? And it's the idea of, I want to be sell pay-per-views. Oh, but we're not allowed to compare them to great boxers. Well, you're a main event of a pay-per-view. So yes, we are 100% allowed to compare you to other.
But also you're calling out Anthony Joshua. You're calling out Gervonta Davis.
Right. Exactly.
There's that too.
You can't have it both ways. People throwing around Zerto, who fought on the same card.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. It's this idea that if you want pay-per-view eyeballs, you got to show me pay-per-view talent. And, he's coming up. He's doing this. He's doing that. Like I said, I've seen a lot of club fighters on the way up who same thing. I paid $20 at the door to see those guys. It's this idea that if you want to be the head of a pay-per-view, you got to show me that you're going to go somewhere with your career and the talent that you have. And is that a fair criticism?
Yeah, I mean the criticism is there. But again, if you're going to look at it from a pay-per-view standpoint, yes, he was the main event of the card. Yes, he was the lowest level fighter on the card. Easily. If you really look at it, because he built a really good card. Yeah. The MVP Promotions did a fantastic job of putting together a fantastic fan-friendly fight.
I love that.
Well, that's a lot of Fs. So from top to bottom, it was worth the pay-per-view just for that alone.
Yes.
And then we get Jake, at the tail end. And listen, some people were tuning in. He got booed. People were tuning in to watch him lose. People, he's fighting Chavez Sr., Chavez Jr., he's got 60 pro fights. He's never been in with a guy who's like this, and a former world champion. So there was that interest there as well. But the card on his all was worth the pay-per-view. So yes, we're paying for Jake Paul during his development years, but he's at least giving the fans something to watch too, and something for us guys, hardcores, to tune in for.
Yeah, very, very true. Robert, I'm curious, as a fan, of course, you are the most educated of fans, right? But this idea that the card itself, pacing wasn't great. I mean, at the end of a knockout, I went and did other stuff, came back 15, walked my dogs, come back 20 minutes later, and I'm seeing talking heads still talking about the fight that's coming up. I'm going, oh my God, it took forever in between fights. As a fan, I thought the pacing was bad. What were your thoughts on it, man?
Look, we were told, because we were actually waiting, because Uriel was on the card, and we had to wait. I think like 30 minutes in between fights. But there was technical problems by the ring. That's why we were. That's why we had to wait. We were told that there was some technical problems that they had to take care of. But overall, like Chris, you're saying, I think it was a great card, man. MVP Golden Boy Promotions did a great job with the undercard. Even the kids, the fighters, the young prospects that were not on the main card. Good fights, good performances. We had a early fight. Fight started like at noon, and there was an upset. One of the Golden Boy prospects got beat by a former world champion.
By Rene Alvarado, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Rene
I saw it. Yep.
So those are the fights that the fans want to see. We don't want to see, just easy one round knockouts. We want to see competitive fights, and the whole card was very competitive.
Yeah, Robert, you actually reminded me of that because I remember that fight as well. I forgot about that. And I was thinking, I was like, as the fight was unveiling, I'm like, this looks like a Pro Box TV fight because the way everyone's matched up, like these are tough fights. Holly Holm was in with an undefeated Mexican girl. Renee Alvarado is a really really rough customer, so he obviously got the upset that night.
Griffin, tough fight against
Griffin obviously gets upset, in a big step up tough fight himself. Even Curiel, I mean, that was a tough fight. It's just Curiel's, I think, really 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 good. But
fun fight as long as it lasted. Yeah.
And Dorticos and Zurdo. I know a lot of people weren't looking at Dorticos because he hasn't been that active. Dorticos is a nightmare. The guy can really, really punch, and he's one of the top guys at cruiserweight, even though he hasn't been super active and he's older. But listen, cruiserweight, being 39, being a little older, but being at a high level the way that he has and still competing, it's a little bit different. But it was still a competitive fight. It gave Zurdo some fits. So every fight on the card was competitive. The fights were fun. So all in all, it was a great card. And we had some upsets, which I don't know. I like upsets. I think fans like upsets too because you don't always want A sides always dominating and the red corner wins every match. It wasn't like that on Saturday night, and that's a good thing for the sport.
Yeah, a well-balanced card. And before I let you go, Robert, I got to ask you, how have you been treated by MVP? How have your guys been treated by the promotion? Are you happy as a coach, advisor to these guys with Jake Paul? Not as a fighter necessarily, but as a promoter. Has it worked out for you?
Oh, look, it was great. We had a great experience. Everything was good. No problems in the hotels, traveling, the rights to the arena. Everything was great. I think they're doing a great job. Obviously, they're new in the business, so co-promoting with a big promoter helps a lot too because the big promoters are always going to be there to try to get things the right way. But I think overall, great experience. I'm pretty sure they're planning on doing a big fight. Word was that he might fight Zurdo Ramirez, so it's it'll be his first world title fight with only 13 fights in 12 fights. Doing something that very few of us can say. By the 12th fight, we already fighting for a world title. So I give him respect. I give him promise. I really believe that Zurdo hurts him and beats him, but it's a challenge, and he'll take it. That's what I like about him, that he'll take the challenge.
Robert, you know what I want to see the Tommy Fury rematch. I think
that would be better. I would like that better. I would like that first.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think righting that wrong, getting that loss off your record, and I think Jake's gotten a lot better since that fight, and Tommy hasn't done a whole lot. So I think timing wise, it makes a lot of sense. Plus, it's a money fight. These guys, that thing will sell.
Exactly.
They could really push that fight. Zurdo, I think we can wait on that a little bit.
No, Chris. Before we go, Chris, you got to make the Zurdo face.
Yeah, Zurdo's a problem, man. He's big. He throws a ton of punches. He's got a hell of a chin. I don't know. Being in a ring with that man, not fun.
Whenever, by the way, behind the scenes here, whenever I mention a fight that's pretty tough, Chris always goes, and I just saw him make that face, so it's coming. But excellent job from Jake Paul making a card that was entertaining from top to bottom, A+ as a promoter for sure. And let's face it, fun, okay, every time he steps in the ring. So we can't wait to see him next time and see what kind of card he puts together. Jake Paul doing it, however, last Saturday. And as it makes news here on Boxing Scene, we will feature it. Tune in for all your boxing news and find out why millions are watching.